Today's topic is addressing the issues at subclavian-aortic arch region. First of all, let me define subclavian-aortic arch region. It starts from the axillary subclavian junction, and all the issues starting from there to the coronary cannulations are to be understood. It is a relatively easier region to deal with as compared to brachial radial region because the artery caliber is bigger throughout, and tortuosity problem is also not a very major issue. Sometimes you may encounter tortuosity, you may encounter even the stenosis in the subclavian or innominate region, and there you have to take care. To start with, when you enter this region with your regular diagnostic or guiding catheter and 32 or 35 wire, regular wire, and if you have any resistance, just stop. Inject, same, define the anatomy well. And once the anatomy is defined, you will come to know what is the problem. If there is too much of tortuosity, you may remove that wire and put a hydrophilic terumo 25 or 32 wire, and most of the time you should be able to negotiate it through into the ascending aorta, and then the job becomes easy. There are two very important structures which are to be taken care of. Number one, right or left internal mammary artery, and number two, right or left vertebral artery, depending on whether you are working from the right radial or the left radial. You must prevent the entry of your wire into these arteries because these are relatively spasm prone arteries, and spasm in this artery can create problem. That's the reason why, if there is any resistance, always use the fluoroscopic guidance to work in this region. The different curves or loops which arise in this region are usually because of dilatation and distortion of the aorta, and that leads to different anatomical loop. It could be a sigma loop, or it could be Z loop, or it could be roller coaster loop, or it could be some wavered loop like cobra loop if it is arterial lusoria. But once you are in the ascending aorta, the procedure becomes as easy as ever. Arterial lusoria again is a very rare entity where the right subclavian is arising from very distant, almost from the left of the aortic arch, and there anatomically the structure becomes, the passage becomes very complex. At times it is extremely difficult to enter the ascending aorta. You may choose different catheter. Regular Tiger or regular right Judkins may not work. Left internal mammary catheter, or at times the Simmons 1 catheter, which is being used to cannulate the 4 vessels, is to be used, and very gently and delicately you can use your wire, the regular wire or the terumo wire. One caution to the beginners: never ever use extra stiff Emplar's wire till your catheter is in the ascending aorta, because it can lead to dissection in this very vulnerable region, and dissection or any compromise in the flow over there can create problem. Secondly, another very important tip: if your wire is in the ascending aorta and the catheter is refusing to enter from the junction of the innominate and arch, there is a tendency for the beginners to push the catheter. No, at this juncture, rather than pushing technique, pulling the things back and slowly, gently sliding the catheter over the wire can do the trick. It can really do the magic, and the things become very easy. Working from the left radial region, the issues of entering the ascending aorta are practically minimized, but you Usually, because the cath lab and the staff is tuned to work from the right radial, we are using right radial. But if you are working from the left radial, very rarely you encounter this type of loop. Only problem you encounter is sometimes a wavered sigma loop. But all these techniques which I have explained you work over in this region very well.